Giving back is great and it feels good. The other day, our analyst, who is studying at university, asked me and my partner Scott to come to his school to speak to the students about starting a career in real estate. It's always good to support people and help young people out when you can. I like to say, when you give, the universe gives, and when you take, the universe takes. Here are some things we discussed at the event. So yeah, I would just say those times of adversity were the biggest parts of growth, and when you're uncomfortable. This is why I put myself in the room of this networking, because I get a little bit uncomfortable networking. Sitting up here is uncomfortable for me. That's when you grow. That's when you really kind of move the needle in your growth. So I just kind of give you that advice. But when you underwrite a deal, and you guys I'm sure learn this, there's three approaches to value, right? There's the cost approach, the sales comp approach, and then the income approach. The income approach is like the most important piece, and it's very data driven. So, we underwrite all our deals. I'll have brokers call me and like, hey, just come out to see this property. Kevin's underwriting a deal. It's like, if the deal doesn't pencil, we're not going to waste our time and underwrite the deal. So, very focused on kind of underwriting using the income approach. At the same time, it's important to get out of the office. So we do these networking events, builds relationships. The way that we sourced the warehouse deal that Scott and I closed in March was through a connection through the meetup. So it's super important to get on the phone, get out, meet people for lunch, build relationships. You can get jobs, like Scott said, you can find deals. Especially in real estate, the math behind real estate is not that complicated. It's not like rocket science. The relationships are super, super, super important. And even if you're a little bit extroverted, that's okay. I mean, people need people that can underwrite deals, right? Kind of really math focused, maybe a little introverted. Those types of roles. There's roles where, like being a broker, right? And kind of being really extroverted. I saw a couple of people, what they did was they took their school project, put it out on Google Drive, whatever, and they had a hyperlink in their resume. I clicked on it and I'm looking at it, I was like, okay, this person seems pretty thorough. It was related to real estate, it was like equity research. But I was like, okay, this person's really thorough. They put a pretty good document together. So you can put your sample work, even if it's just school, in your resume, just link to it. For example, that person, I don't remember who that person was, but that person sticks out. It's like, okay, they're in the second tier because they're not real estate, but I'm like, that person stood out, they did something that other people didn't do, right?
Another thing that's helpful, one of the best acquisition guys I hired, I think I interviewed about 40 people. This guy was like 3 years out of college, had some real estate experience, not a lot. Initially, I kind of overlooked him. He sent me a letter. That's you guys do that. Out of the 40, I got 2 letters. So it just kind of tells you how rare it is, but they'll make you stand out. It's like that's ended up initially not hiring him. He actually shows up at the office. It's like, just was aggressive. Nice, but aggressive. Like, tell me, so what did I do wrong? What did I do? What could I have done better? Blah, blah, blah. And essentially, he had such an attitude of he wasn't going to quit. Wasn't going to take no for an answer. Wasn't being pushy. He's being very reasonable and positioning yourself in a way like, man, what did I do wrong? You gotta help me. What can I do better? What can I do better the next time? Now, you sure there's no way I can get into this? I ended up hiring him, and he was free to stand. Best guy I've ever hired. So, and just attitude gets you a long way.
You join networking events, you partner with other people that are experienced, and use their experience to kind of launch deals. So I invested as a limited partner in other people's deals. Then eventually I was a general partner in other people's deals in other parts of the country. And then eventually we got this Waco deal in 2021 where I was kind of the main general partner. So you just kind of scale up. So that building business and building the track record is super important and difficult. The other piece is the capital raising piece. So we syndicate the equity on the deals, right? So there's the debt piece, right? You're going to get debt from a bank or Freddie and Fannie on the multifamily side. Then there's the equity piece, right? So, our multifamily deal, we closed a deal in Hotham City in March. It was a $4 million equity raise. I don't have $4 million in the bank. We basically go to our friends and family and raise the capital that way, right? So they're writing 50, 100K checks. So the capital raise piece is very challenging, especially right now. 2 years ago, it was very easy. Anyone could kind of raise their hand and raise capital because the property values are doing this. Now they're kind of going down. The third thing is you're the master of your own destiny. So if this business does not succeed, I always kind of have my wife. She's kind of a tiger wife. So she's like, if this doesn't succeed, you got to go back and get a job, right? We need to support the family. So knowing that, right, when you're working for someone else, you feel like you're safe and you're stable. You have a salary. If we don't do deals, Scott and I don't do deals. We don't put food on the table. So it's challenging, it's rewarding, but you control your own destiny. We feel like the event was successful. We tried to give good advice and guidance to these young students, and hopefully we made an impact.